There was definitely something missing when it came to the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare story. I really did enjoy the story quite a lot, and we've talked a little bit about this. It was just one of those stories that just felt very different. I thought Troy Baker's performance really elevated it. I thought Kevin Spacey being there really elevated it as well. The performances were great all around, but the ending of the game was one of those things that made me kind of sit back and think twice. Like, what I sat there and I thought, it really ends like this? That's it? There's nothing else? There's nothing more that we're doing? And I remember thinking that so vividly because I truly enjoyed the game so much. And Call of Duty Ghost is one of those games that I think is almost perfect from beginning to end in terms of the story, in terms of the campaign. I really liked it. I enjoyed Modern Warfare 2019 as well. Really liked it. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare from beginning to end. Loved it. You know, I loved Infinite Warfare as well. It was just, these games are great. And so Advanced Warfare, I loved it from beginning almost to end because the end just didn't leave me satisfied, and that was the thing. So if we remember the ending, Gideon and Mitchell are caught by Jonathan Irons. He disables their exosuit and then talks to them about why he did what he did and why he needed to do it, basically. So here's a short snippet of that scene.
You think I'm a monster? That's only because you don't have the conviction to do what's necessary.
Necessary? The attack on America, unleashing Manticore, killing thousands of innocent people?
I'm saving the world from itself. When there's no one left to challenge Atlas, there will be no more wars. There had to be sacrifices along the way.
Yeah, twisted fucks throughout history have used the same argument. I don't know who stopped the launch. They'll bring this entire building down on top of you.
I could have killed you in the prison camp. I could kill you now. But I won't. I'm not a monster.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
And so here we kind of get to see and explore Jonathan Irons' state of mind and why he does what he does. But before we move on, what I didn't like about this is that it felt weird. It felt like it wasn't supposed to be there originally. And then to treat Gideon and Mitchell, I don't know, like he cared about them. And then he was like, okay, like I could kill you. I could very easily just shoot both of you guys and move on, but I'm not going to do that. Like, this whole place is already blown up. Everything is compromised. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? You know, I'm killing you both and I'm leaving. Like, his character arc was going on up. Like, he was just one of the best villains I have ever experienced in Call of Duty. And then when it got to that point, I didn't really understand his thought process. I didn't understand why he was doing what he was doing. I really thought that he was going to kill either Gideon or me, or he was going to shoot both of the characters. I thought that something like that was going to happen. But he kind of calmly just talks to them and then he leaves and he runs away. Where is he running to? I have no idea, but he runs away. And then Mitchell chases him. We end up catching him, and then he pleads kind of for his life because he says that, you know, he gave Mitchell a second chance while Mitchell is holding him, basically saving him from death. And so he's asking Mitchell to raise him up. Mitchell doesn't do it. He lets go of his prosthetic arm, and then Irons dies. But now the original ending of the game was told by Troy Baker himself. Now, I was working on a video about Troy Baker and how I felt that he portrayed Jack Mitchell in the first place, and I thought he did a wonderful job. And in that research, I came across a link where he was talking about the original ending of the game in an interview that he did on Dan Allen Gaming. And so I clicked on an article by cod.tracker.gg and I read the article where he talks about this ending. And I'm going to link it down in the description below so you guys can go read it for yourself. But basically, Troy Baker says that there were a lot of changes made during the production of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. He described a conclusion and ending to the game which varies vastly compared to what did ship in the final product. He said that he was dissatisfied with that. He didn't like that they changed it. But apparently, the scene begins at the exact same point where Mitchell and Gideon's suits are disabled, the scene that I showed you guys earlier. Troy Baker says that Irons guides Mitchell's arm and points it towards himself with a gun in hand. He raises the gun and points it to the head of Irons. Again, and Irons is controlling this. And then he says the following: to really have an effective movement, you need to have a martyr. I know what I'm doing. And then bam, apparently he shoots himself, kills himself, and he makes it look like Mitchell was the one who did it, right? And then he becomes a martyr for this great movement or whatever. Troy Baker himself said that the scene was super powerful. He really loved it, but they completely changed it. And apparently Troy Baker says that they told him, like production told him, Activision or Sledgehammer, whatever, told him that there was no way that they could have done the original ending. And I think that's pretty wild, because when I read this for the first time today, I literally read that today, I found it crazy how much more that ending made sense to, how much more that ending actually worked with the character of Jonathan Irons. It made him a crazier villain, a more deranged villain, and willing to go the extra mile, willing to do anything to prove his point or do what he thought was best. Because in the original ending, he runs away and then he pleads for his life in a situation that was weird to begin with, where he could have literally easily taken down both Gideon and Mitchell. But instead, in this alternate ending that could have been, you get Irons probably broadcasting this live, like without audio, to the world. And he's like maybe he makes it seem like he's talking to Gideon and Mitchell, trying to stop them because he's this good guy who's been ending wars and yada, 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 right? And you got Mitchell aiming the gun, killing him on the spot, and it looks like Mitchell killed him. And then it probably would have created like this ripple effect, and it would have, gone into Advanced Warfare 2, and it would have painted Mitchell maybe in a different light, or it really would have gotten whatever movement Jonathan Irons at the time wanted started. And that ending seems so much better than the one that we actually got. And now I believe that this interview was from 2021. I believe that's what I am seeing. Maybe 22, I don't know, but it was one of those. And again, I don't know how I never saw this until now, but I was literally looking at the research for Troy Baker and Jack Mitchell, and that's where we found it. I think this ending was so good, and I really wish that we could have had this ending replace the one in the game, because it really would have elevated the character more so, and I think it would have left a different impact on the game's legacy. I really, really do.